Coming up next on This Week in Torrance, a mosquito found at Madrona Marsh tests positive for West Nile virus. We'll explain what that means for visitors and Torrance residents.
And we'll show you how one group of volunteers is helping to bring our children school supplies.
Then, regardless of the temperature outside, we'll tell you why staying cool is important for your health.
Plus, this isn't just any cancer walk. We'll bring you to an event that's making strides for everyone. These stories and much more are just seconds away.
Your local news starts right now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to This Week in Torrance. I'm Jin Chun.
And I'm Ben McCain. Thanks for joining us. Here are your top stories. Governor Jerry Brown wants to raise the taxes of some major companies, but these wouldn't be California companies. Governor Brown is targeting businesses like online retailer Amazon that sell their goods in the Golden State but are based outside of California. This isn't the first time Governor Brown has made this request. It was part of Brown's original budget that was rejected by lawmakers. What's new is how Brown wants to spend the $1 billion that the tax increase would generate. The state continues to deal with a 12% unemployment rate. The proposal aims to reward companies that create California jobs. Instead of using the money for general state spending, Brown wants to give new tax credits to companies that employ people in California.
Well, here are some highlights from the most recent City Council meeting. The Torrance girls softball team, also known as Guts and Glory, was recognized by Council. The team recently won the Amateur Softball Association Western National Championship. They are the first Torrance girls softball team in history to win this championship. City Council appropriated a $2,500 donation from the Friends of the Torrance Library. The donation will fund a 2-year subscription to Constant Contact, an email marketing service for the Torrance Public Library System. Torrance will participate in the Reconnect California program. The grant program would replace the existing electric vehicle charging station with a new charging unit at no cost to the city. The existing station no longer functions. Torrance is also looking ahead to building its charging station infrastructure. The city is looking for feedback from the public about where additional charging stations should be placed around the city. A new station costs about $3,000 to $5,000 to install. Council appropriated $72,000 in funding from the Reserve for Program Contingencies. The money will go towards the Senior Mobile Home Space Rent Subsidy Program. 60 seniors will receive rent subsidies of about $100 for an additional year. The Citizen Development and Enrichment Committee presented their plans for the Torrance Bridge Maintenance and Beautification Project. The project includes repairing cracks and railings and cleaning up the bridge's surface. The committee would also like to move the Torrance Monument sign to the north side of Torrance Boulevard. Besides hiring a contractor, the committee would like to hire a structural engineer and historic preservationist to assist on the project. Council accepted the proposal, which states the project should be complete by next summer. The second public hearing was held on the moratorium extension on issuing any permits or licenses for new massage and acupuncture establishments in Torrance. Establishments that are owner-operators and that have a state license will be exempt. After the hearing was closed, the moratorium was extended. And for 45 years, Leroy Jackson has served as Torrance's city manager. Jackson is someone who typically doesn't seek out the spotlight, but during oral communications, Jackson was singled out by residents and staff on his tenure here in Torrance. Speakers thanked Jackson for nearly 50 years of his ethical approach towards city business and governance.
Food trucks have been the rage in LA County for the last few years, but how they fit into the traditional business landscape is still in question. So South Bay cities have been cracking down on just where they can park and sell. Trucks like Kogi often park in lots of businesses with several employees. Here in Torrance, that's against municipal code. Some trucks have been asked to leave the lots after the city received complaints about blocked driveways and fire lanes. Mayor Frank Scotto says he does not believe in hindering business, and since the phenomenon isn't fading, cities need to figure out how these new businesses can work with traditional businesses. Food truck fans can expect to hear the issue discussed at a future city council meeting.
Ladies' Night is a popular promotion at bars, but men's-only events are harder to find. A Torrance hotspot recently gave them the chance to get together for an afternoon of Hops for Health. The Red Car Brewery, along with the cancer support community, held Hops for Health, a fundraiser for prostate cancer awareness. The afternoon combined several guy activities like putting, drinking great beer, and hanging out with friends. Other than skin cancer, prostate cancer is the most common cancer in American men. The cancer support community aims to educate and help families struggling with the disease. Guests bid on auction items and also learned about the beer making process from Bob Brandt, owner of the Red Car Brewery. The men's only event gave new meaning to toasting to your health. Hops for Health raised more than $8,000. The money will help fund group support programs for cancer patients and their loved ones. For more information, visit cancersupportredondobeach.org.
At least 140 infants in LA County have died in the past 2 years from unsafe sleeping practices, and several others have died or have been disabled by shaken baby syndrome. Now the County Board of Supervisors is addressing the problem. The county will develop a 2-year pilot program at Harbor UCLA Medical Center. The program will focus on educating parents and hospital workers on safe sleeping practices, proper handling of fragile infants, and the risk of shaking newborns. The program will be modeled on a similar program that was created in Baltimore. Their infant safe sleeping and abusive head trauma pilot led to 4 years without a single head trauma death and a decrease in sleep-related deaths. Harbor UCLA was selected for the program because of its strong pediatric department. 900 babies were born at the medical center last year.
If you're a parent and think prices for back-to-school clothes have gone up, you're right. To offset the rising costs of materials and labor, many retailers are raising prices an average of 10% this fall. And they're trying to do so without tipping off customers. Tweaks like fancy stitching or fake buttonholes may fool shoppers. Those embellishments only cost a few cents to add, even though retailers can raise the price by $10. For other stores, less means more. One example may be Abercrombie & Fitch redesigned 2012 jeans. The teen clothing retailer says the jeans are softer with the perfect amount of stretch. They also cost about $10 more than last year. After examining the jeans, a retail analyst says they are thinner and of cheaper quality. That extra stretch could also mean the jeans actually contain less denim. Well, up next on This Week in Torrance, we'll tell you what you need to know about West Nile and the South Bay.
And as Southern California braces for a heat wave, we'll tell you how to keep your cool. Those details are coming up after the break.
Weight loss, it's one of the many ways to fight osteoarthritis pain. For more information on managing pain, go to fightarthritispain.org.
Be out there. Be out there.
Be out there. Be out there.
Time was, kids did what came naturally. Spending free time running barefoot through the grass, wading knee-deep in streams, climbing to the tallest branch. But today, American kids are more likely found texting, watching TV, or gazing at a computer screen. They spend more than 7 hours in front of electronic media. Something essential has been lost: childhood's connection to the natural world. That's why National Wildlife Federation created the Be Out There movement. Kids move indoors causes a host of problems, from obesity to ADHD. But outdoor play can go a long way to improving kids' health, body, mind, and spirit. It helps them stay fit, enhances creativity and attention spans, and could even make them better students. Do your part. Be a part of Be Out There. There's a reason why they call it the great outdoors. Learn more at beoutthere.org.
Be out there!
Earlier in the show, we told you about the rising price of back-to-school products, and in today's economy, school supplies may not be affordable for some families. Reporter Shantae Passmore tells us how a new project is helping.
Back-to-school shopping isn't typically done at a church, unless you're at Torrance First Baptist.
In total, it was about 400 bags we've filled. We've given out about, I would say, 300 of those, and we're waiting for the other 100 to find out if they want to participate and get the items, or we're going to be delivering them to the schools as an as-needed basis.
The church has partnered with Love Inc., His House, and Project Boss to supply back-to-school items for needy kids.
People can donate to this back-to-school drive in different ways. They can either donate backpacks, school supplies, or money, which will go towards the purchasing of school supplies needed.
Back-to-school shopping usually includes basic items like notebooks, paper, and pencils. While these materials seem inexpensive, some families can't afford them.
There's probably people sitting in the pew right around you that are in need, and you don't even know that they're in need. It's just we're discovering that that's really the case pretty much everywhere.
Most families only expect to receive a backpack. That is, until they look inside. One mother couldn't believe what she saw.
"You're giving this all to my son?" I said, "Yes." And she goes, "This is everything he needs. This is so wonderful. You guys have no idea how much this helps." And it was just, it's like that's why we're there.
Since the drive began, church leaders say they've noticed a change amongst church members.
When they see the backpacks on the platform behind us, it gives them the sense that they've been able to really participate and do something tangible when it comes to meeting some of the needs in our community.
Sometimes you think, you have to do something big for somebody, and that would bless them. But even just small acts of kindness, and generosity, just really touches your heart.
No act of kindness is too small, even if it's a backpack. For This Week in Torrance, I'm Shantae Passmore.
For more information on Project Backpack, visit torrancefirstbaptist.org.
Mosquito tested positive for West Nile in Torrance, and that news may have caused some concern in residents. But as reporter Jennifer Wade discovers, the virus may be dangerous, but the recent findings at the marsh are not.
Every week they set traps out at the marsh to determine if there are mosquitoes present. Every once in a while they'll take those traps and create what they call a pool and test those mosquitoes for West Nile virus. And in this case, one of the traps here at the marsh tested positive, and that's how it was discovered.
The West Nile virus is a serious illness and can sometimes grow into a seasonal epidemic. It is typically spread through infected mosquitoes, but finding a mosquito that tests positive for the virus is not a cause for alarm.
Every county in California has tested positive for West Nile virus. It is everywhere in the West. It's not really an unusual phenomenon. It's just something that we need to be aware of, to be careful of when we're outside. And should we be more concerned now than at any other time? No, not really. This is, again, it's an occurrence that happens in nature. It is something that happens that people should be aware of, and they should take precaution. Vector control is extremely diligent and very good at monitoring all of the water areas in the entire county. In our area, there are several vector control districts throughout the state, and then we, of course, do our part by making sure that there's no standing water.
And the positive West Nile virus test should not slow down Madrona Marsh visitors.
But it was a beautiful day, and we enjoyed it very much.
I honestly haven't really thought about it. I thought that they came out mostly at night or around water, which neither were where we just were.
We don't tell people not to come here at all. Mosquitoes are active during dawn and dusk, and so we are only open from 10 to 5, so we're not open at any time during the time when mosquitoes might be present. There are signs posted. They're posted throughout the county as well as here at the marsh.
Colorado Park, I was walking in, they had the sign posted, so it brought us to a realization. But today, walking in there, it never really occurred to me. It did not until we came out and we seen the sign.
Recent concern is growing over the West Nile virus in Torrance, but sources here at the Madrona Marsh say there is no real threat to the community as long as you follow the following precautions. Wear protective clothing, use mosquito repellent, and avoid going outdoors from dusk to dawn. This is Jennifer Wade for CitiCable.
Thank you, Jennifer. For more information on the prevention of West Nile, go to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention website at cdc.gov.
Most of the Southland will experience a heat wave in the next few days, and while Torrance will only see a slight temperature increase, for some residents, staying cool isn't just an option, it's a necessity. Reporter Shantae Passmore tells us more.
A high of 86 degrees doesn't exactly spell heat wave, but for some people, warmer weather can spell trouble.
If you have neighbors that you know are elderly, you could check on them, family members, try to check on them maybe twice a day to make sure they're okay.
According to a county report, Heat-related injuries increase with age. Heat cramps for a 20-year-old may be heat exhaustion for a middle-aged person, and for an elderly person, it could be heat stroke.
I mean, your body can only get so hot before you have some damage. It's a pretty serious thing. You need to go to the ER, so we're trying to prevent everybody from coming to the ER by just trying to stay inside.
It's best to stay cool during warmer weather, but experts agree that not all cooling methods work the same.
Actually, air conditioning is actually better. I don't know if it's actually sufficient to just sit with a fan, because it could just be blowing hot air.
A high electricity bill may prevent you from turning the air on, but you can always go to a designated cooling center, like the Katie Geisert Main Library.
Well, what that means is that we are listed with the county and all the health agencies as a place you can go to find a building that's open that has air conditioning and cool water.
Thayer says two things tend to happen once the weather starts to heat up.
We do definitely notice an increase of people coming in when it's very warm outside or spending longer.
The Bartlett Senior Center is another Torrance cooling center. Both locations are only deemed cooling centers when there's a heat wave warning in Torrance, and being a cooling center has its advantages.
But it also exempts us from any rolling blackouts that they may institute to preserve overloading the power grid, for example.
So if power companies are cutting the power in certain neighborhoods, the cooling center supply remains untouched, which means there's plenty of cold air to go around. And these facilities are always open, regardless of whether there's a heat wave or not. For This Week in Torrance, I'm Shantae Passmore.
For a complete list of cooling centers, go to the city's website at torranceca.gov. Coming up, if you love to sing, you might be able to share your voice with the world on a new TV show.
We'll have those exciting details after the break.
Welcome home, man.
I think someone at my friend's school has this thing called autism. My friend's brother's son has autism. My neighbor's son has autism. My son has autism.
Autism is getting closer to home. Today, 1 in 110 children is diagnosed with autism. That's a 600% increase in the last 20 years. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
If you have an important message or a question for someone that you're too nervous to say with words, why not say it with music? A new show set to air on the Oprah Winfrey Network will bring together the right contestant with choreographers, vocal coaches, and the musical director from Glee, all to help you create a musical spectacular around your message. All applicants must be able to sing. Casting directors for the show will be at the San Franciscan Restaurant here in Torrance on Tuesday, August 30th for karaoke night. So if you're interested, this may be your best chance to audition.
As part of the Kids Love Aviation Science Summer Program, Prepare for Liftoff gives kids 5 and up the chance to create and construct their own space shuttle or rocket. This Make It and Take It session at the Western Museum of Flight includes free entry to the museum and a guided tour of their space exhibit. Pacific Coast Hobbies will also be on hand to assist with model building and to answer technical questions. You can register for the August 31st event by calling 310-326-9544 or by sending an email to info@wmof.com. The deadline for registration is Tuesday, August 30th. And finally, the Making Strides Against Breast Cancer walks are non-competitive 3 to 5 mile fundraisers. Since 1993, nearly 7 million walkers have raised more than $400 million to help fight breast cancer. But this year's Torrance Walk is different. Reporter Jacqueline Shepard explains.
Whether it's a walk for the cure or a walk for hope, we've all heard of walks that raise money for cancer research. But the Torrance-based Making Strides walk is taking a new approach.
It's a very inclusive walk because we don't charge a registration fee. So the people that are here today can come out and walk and aren't excluded because of the registration fees that they would have to pay in other walks.
But this isn't a race. It's a walk for awareness and to make sure one day we find a cure. Women should start getting breast exams in their 20s and mammograms in their 40s. And though you may feel healthy, yearly exams are crucial.
Unfortunately, our breast cancers that can develop within a year, and we don't want that to happen because some of them are, hormone fueled and they can just get out of hand quickly, and it's better to catch it when it's early.
Michelle Armijo, 3 years. Karen Holt, 4 years.
Early detection is what saved the lives of these women, but all of them say support from family, doctors, and support groups was vital to their recovery.
I don't think people always recognize what's going on behind the person and behind the face. And that's where support groups, I think, that are most important because it gives us an ability to go and talk and share. And I can't tell you how many times. It's like when I go into that room with those women, I know I can say anything.
As a 2-year survivor, Melanie Campa says her goal is to now get her life back and build up her strength. Thanks to her support group, she met someone who's eager to help her do just that.
We also have a free personal training program for any person that's currently going through treatment of any type of cancer or they're in the recovery of cancer. Exercise promotes health. It actually helps to reduce certain side effects from different types of treatments that they're going through. It makes them feel better. And it gets them stronger as their body's trying to heal itself.
Men and women, companies, and families came out to support the first annual Making Strides Breast Cancer Walk. Organizers are hopeful that each donation brought us one step closer to a cure.
We've exceeded already the expectation. The original expectation was 20,000. So we've already doubled that, and we're not over yet.
For Torrance CitiCable, I'm Jacqueline Shepard.
Thank you, Jacqueline. This was the first Making Strides Breast Cancer Walk, and organizers are hoping to exceed this walk's success next year. To find out more, visit facebook.com/msabc.torrance. That's going to do it for us on This Week in Torrance. I'm Ben McCain.
And I'm Jin Chun. If you've missed any portion of our show, you can catch us again at 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.